What's going on, my fellow collectors? Jim here with another figure review. Today let's take a look at the brand new Hasbro Marvel Legends Series 12-inch Wolverine Tiger Stripe figure. I was very excited when they first showed images for this figure. Definitely one that I wanted to pick up. The packaging is what we've seen before with these other Marvel Legends series. Basically you just have the big open window. You see everything that you do get. You do have this kind of like silver rainbowish trimming going around. You got Wolverine, Hasbro. On the top you do got the Marvel. It's kind of like embossed a little bit. And on the one side you have an image of the figure, and it kind of has this like hologram rainbow effect going on. On the back you got some other cool images of the figure, the warnings and all that, and again we get that like kind of rainbowish hologram. And then on the other side we have another image of the figure, and on the bottom we got the barcode and all that stuff. But that is the packaging. Let's go ahead and crack this Wolverine open and take a close. Okay, and here he is out of the packaging along with everything that we do get with this Wolverine figure. He comes with a good little bit of accessories. We do have two pairs of fists, one with the claws out and one with the claws retracted, of course. And I do like the detail on the hands. We get really nice kind of sculpted texture all throughout. Kind of get these cool little like pads on the fingers and knuckles and everything. So that turned out really good. And then of course we get nice chrome silver painting for the claws. But these turned out really nice. I really like these. And then of course we have the fists that are on him with the claws. We'll take a look at those a little bit later. We do have the mask, and this is pretty cool. It kind of mimics like if he were to take his mask off and have it hanging on his back, like we saw with the Marvel Legends Throwback Toy Biz Wolverine. So this is a cool accessory. I do like it, and it's done, you know, well enough. We have some silver for the eyes. We get some kind of sculpted wrinkles all throughout it. So that looks pretty cool, and it does look good when it's on the figure. We do have an unmasked head, and I think for the most part this is a nice, you know, head sculpt. It does kind of capture a nice comic book unmasked Wolverine head sculpt. I like that the hair is a separate piece, so you don't have to worry about any kind of like bleeding going on. The eyes are done nice, really nice kind of blue paint in there. And then of course we have nice sculpting for the hair and his mud chops and everything. That turned out really good. Nice sculpting on the hair. Now there is a sculpted 5 o'clock shadow and like kind of, you know, hair, but they didn't paint it. So that, I think they really dropped the ball with that. They did the same thing on the arms and the other head sculpts as well. So I think it would have really brought it up if they would have, you know, painted that hair in. And then we get my favorite here, which is just kind of battle damaged screaming Wolverine, and this one is awesome. I love this one. Really awesome expression. I love how he's screaming. Nice sculpt in the expression as well. The teeth are a little bit kind of like big and gangly looking, but you know, they're done okay, well enough. Again, we get the stubble that's not painted, but nice skin tone. And then I love what they did with his mask here and all these like kind of scratches and bullet holes. That is so cool. I love that. Really nice touch. But we just get all this kind of, you know, sculpted in battle damage and tears and rips, and it's just great, even on the back. And then we have like the top of his mask has been torn and his hair is coming through. So really cool head sculpt. And then we get two shoulder pads, which is also for like, you know, battle damage, and these turned out really nice. I love the metallic blue that they used on it. And again, we get nice sculpted scratches and lines and dings and bullet holes on these, and these are really cool. Now with the shoulder pads, you really kind of have to peg them in really hard to get them to stay in. They're kind of loose. They kind of want to flop around on him. Like this one on mine's already really loose, and it's pegged in all the way. But there is two different sizes to the pegs. That way you put them on correctly. You have a fatter peg back here and a more skinny one here. And then even inside they have a little R2 written on there. So that's pretty cool. So you just take the other shoulder pad off, and the bigger peg goes towards the back and the smaller peg goes to the front. And you, of course you have the holes, so you pop the bigger peg in there and then pop that and just kind of squeeze them both together. And that looks really cool. I like that they added that. That's really neat that we could, you know, interchange his shoulder pads for the battle damage or the regular, even though they don't really work as well as I would like them to, because they do seem to be a little bit loose. And like I was having issues on this side where this peg won't even stay in for me. So But that is all the accessories that is included with the Wolverine. Let's take a closer look at Wolverine here, because I think Hasbro did a really nice job with this figure overall. I mean, there are some things that I don't like, but overall I think they did a good job. Now this is the head sculpt that comes on him out of the packaging. More of a kind of like serious, stern Wolverine. And I think it looks good. Again, you know, we get the stubble that's not painted in, but the skin tone is decent. Nice sculpt on the mask. I don't like how the ears are kind of warped. And I don't know if maybe heat might be able to fix that problem or not. But I just don't like how they kind of come up at this weird angle. It just doesn't look right to me. But, you know, nice sculpting. And then, of course, the rest of the figure is done really well. We get nice, clean, black tiger stripes on his outfit, so they turned out really nice. Muscle definition all throughout. Nice, clean tiger stripes here on the side. We get a darker yellow that's kind of shading in throughout the muscles. And it's pretty prominent on his neck and, like, right here in between his pecs. And then a little bit on his ab area, too. It's subtle, but it's nice that they at least added that, you know, to it. And then the arms, you know, nice skin tone again, but, you know, again, they just totally dropped the ball not painting in all of that sculpted hair that's on the arm. It really does make it look kind of silly, even though, I mean, it still turned out good. We get nice sculpted veins and everything all throughout it. And then we have his gauntlets, which again have this really nice textured pattern on it, which I really like. We get sculpting to match the muscles on the forearm. And of course we do have the closed fist and the claws, which I think turned out really, really good. Especially for Hasbro, because we're so used to getting very warped, you know, discolored claws with our Hasbro Wolverine figures. And these, for the most part, are pretty straight. I haven't had any issue. I did have one that was a little bit off, but I've kind of messed with it a little bit. And it has straightened out, but I like the thickness, I like the color that they chose. Really, really cool. And these are removable. You can actually, you kind of have to like pull at an angle to get them out, because the peg is kind of at an angle like that. But you can remove the claws, so that's cool. So you can, you know, do like the middle finger, or just have him without the claws with this fist hand. But these are the fists that do come on him, and they're pretty much just like the other ones, just of course with the claws out. Same thing, but really, really cool. And for the belt, we have a floating red belt, and it has a little bit of texture on it. It is missing like some wash maybe, but the X is painted fairly clean for the most part. And of course this is floating, so it's not molded or glued on him or anything. Again, for the legs, we get nice sculpted muscles all throughout. Again, we get a little bit of that shading going through some of the muscles. And then the boots, I think, turned out great. Love the boots. Again, we get that kind of texture sculpt that we have on the gauntlets and the hands. And again, we get like the nice muscle definition all throughout them. I think the boots just turned out really, really good. I think that's so awesome. And of course we even have some treads on the bottom, and he does have 2 peg holes on both sides. And we even have a little like X-Man logo down here, so that's a nice little touch. And of course this side of the figure is the same. Again, we get the sculpted hair with, you know, no paint on it. I do have some issues with paint, kind of the blue paint bleeding through the silver on this part. But then looking at the back of the figure, again we get nice definition in the boots. Get a little bit of sculpted wrinkles here on his underwear part. And then the back of the figure looks good. Again, we get nice clean paint for the tiger stripes. And again, we get a little bit of that shading going in some of the muscle definition. Get a little bit of missed paint there. But so, I mean, overall, it's a really, you know, good looking figure for the most part. A few gripes here and there, but, you know, what are you going to do? The other gripe I kind of have is I'm glad that they added this cut for, you know, movement, but something about this area right here, it just never really seems to want to line up right, and it just looks a little silly. Like, to really line it up, you have to kind of crank back on it and kind of twist it to get everything kind of symmetrically lined up, but then he's kind of hunched back. But at least it makes these tiger stripes look a little bit more uniform with one another. Because like out of the box, I don't know, it just kind of juts forward a little bit. It just doesn't really look right to me anyway. But as far as articulation, we do get nice articulation on this guy. Of course, we have the ball and hinge. he won't look up very well. Like you see, you know, the head pops off when you go cranking on it too much. So I do wish that he would look up a little bit better. But you get a little bit up, only about that much. But we get nice down with that hinge. You can bury his chin in his chest. Of course, you do have rotation. Of course, we have that really nice butterfly joint. So that gives really nice movement back and forward. So that is awesome. Really nice range there. Of course, we have our standard, you know, swivel and hinge at the shoulder. Brings it up about that much. Of course, that will go all the way around. We do have a bicep swivel. We do have double jointed elbows, which give him decent range, pretty much like 90 degrees. Of course, you do have the swivel and the hinge and all, and you know, all pairs of hands. This one over here, however, on mine is completely stuck. Like it's not punched out all the way, so I cannot utilize that hinge whatsoever. I'm gonna have to figure out what I can do to fix that situation. Of course, we do have this upper torso, so you get rotation out of that. Nice rotation. You get really nice, you know, side-to-side pivot out of that as well. And of course, you do get, you know, back and forward. So nice movement all around on that joint. And then we have kind of like a ab crunch here. So with both of them, you can get them hunched over really good and hunched back really good. So that's cool. There is no waist swivel. He does get nice movement with his legs outwards, kicking forward about that much. Kicking back, it kind of goes out to an angle. You do have a thigh cut in there. Double jointed knees, which give you about that much range. And then really nice movement with the foot as we get the hinge that brings it, you know, all the way back. Really nice forward. Really nice ankle rocker in there. And then we do have a toe joint that goes up really far and even goes down. So that is pretty cool. Now I will say I've noticed that my ab crunch has gotten really, really loose and floppy since I've been messing with it. So that's a little bit disappointing that some of the joints can get loose as you mess around with the figure. We also get rotation here at the boot. I think I missed that. So we do get rotation there. But I mean, all in all, it's a really cool looking figure. Let me go ahead and pop the head off and show you what the, like, here's that mask. Basically just put it over the head and then put the unmasked head on. And you see, even that looks really good. The head might be a little bit small for the body, but I think all in all, I mean, it looks really good on him. It fits him well, it hangs nice, so that's really cool. Really nice added touch with that to have him be able to be displayed like that. And then of course you can take that off and add on the awesome battle damage head. And this one just looks absolutely great. I'm sure a majority of us will be displaying this figure with this head sculpt just because it looks so awesome. Put the battle damaged shoulder pads on there. Which is easier said than done. Come on now. There we go. Yeah, if you like really push in on these shoulder pads, it'll get them to stay a little bit better because they can get pretty loose on you and tend to want to always, you know, fall down like that. But that just looks absolutely great. He looks so cool with those options. I'm really glad they included that. And as far as a measurement, Wolverine, let me get him standing straight up here. Best as I can. It looks like to the top of his head, he's a little under 11 inches to the top of his head. So that is cool that they even made him a little bit, you know, smaller and stockier within the Marvel Legends series line. And as far as a size comparison with another Marvel Legends 12-inch, I do have the Deadpool. So you see between these two, they look good. Wolverine is, you know, shorter than Deadpool, much more stockier as well. And as far as another comparison, here is the Mezco 112 Tiger Strike Wolverine exclusive. So that gives you a little size comparison as far as what this Wolverine will look like on the shelf. But I mean, at the end of the day, it really is an awesome figure. I think Marvel Legends has definitely stepped their game up. Like since Thor, they've really stepped their game up and you know, made these figures more worth the money that you're paying for them, you know, even though they are still a little bit pricey at, you know, 50 bucks. But, you know, at the end of the day, you really do get a nice piece. We get tons of options with this Wolverine. It's awesome, and we all like the Tiger Stripe Wolverine. So, but yeah, guys, that's a look at the Marvel Legends Series 12-inch Wolverine figure. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next figure review.